goodness, howdy.
Get an audience. Cast a crowd. Right here?
We're not going to be able to hear her question.
Oh, yeah, we're on speed now? We have a lot of noise.
All right.
Somebody can just get up and yell. Get up on the stretch and yell from up there on the steps. All right. Not my problem.
Governor Rockefeller,
Right.
it's the result of the garbage situation, the sanitation strike, and the course and possible results of the war in Vietnam. I wonder if you could draw that parallel for us.
Well, what I have said was that we live in a period of tremendous tension, pressure, frustration. And increasingly, the reaction is when one's frustrated, is to pull a gun or call out the troops or drop a bomb. And I don't honestly think that this is going to be the answer to our problems at home or to the problems internationally. We live in a world with a great many people, and they have a great many problems. And I think as free citizens, we've got to set the example that we have the capacity, the moderation to be able to work these out through discussion, through peaceful solutions, rather than having to resort to force.
Well, the here advocacy of a peaceful solution this is rather a different development from the more militant stand you took, say, back in 64 and 65, is it not?
Well, I didn't.
Worried about that?
No.
Governor,
Never have been before either.
think it
I
has
always try and do what I think is right in terms of the best interest of the people. And sometimes it doesn't appear to be the right thing to have done from the point of view of the tension, of the emotions of the moment. But I took the oath of office, and I represent the best interest of the people.
Governor,
You have to let the chips fall politically where they may.
there's some feeling. There's some, Governor, there's some feeling, Governor, that if you had explained 24 hours earlier the what appeared to be the futility of calling out the Guard, perhaps there wouldn't have been so much anti-Rockefeller propaganda.
Well, that's a fair statement to make, and I'd just like to make this comment, that I was still with a problem that was unsolved as far as an ultimate settlement. The men had gone back to work, but the ultimate settlement with the city had not been achieved. I felt that to go back and discuss the merits or demerits of a situation while the situation was still in existence could prejudice the ultimate solution of that situation, and that was my responsibility. So that I didn't want to depreciate the ability of the Guard. I didn't want to get into a discussion of the moral question or the question of using moderate means rather than going to the extreme means. It seemed to me that it was better to try and do what was, I thought, right, and then get the thing settled rather than trying to explain my
Well, are you saying, Governor, do you feel
disheartened at all by the public reaction to what finally came out?
No, I was very interested, and I think it is a very fascinating example of the degree of frustration and bitterness which exists on the part of people in this country. Because here, really what they're saying is, let's call out the Guard to break a strike. We haven't done that in this country for about 30 years.
Governor, a recent political poll placed you as the number 2 man in the Republican Party as far as the public is concerned. Do you think that by being number 2 man, with a little extra work, you might become number 1?
I'm not a candidate, and I'm not going to be, so that I appreciate the speculation. But Governor, on this garbage thing.
Organized labor and the issue of garbage strike. Translating this to the Vietnam question, which you have done, do you think that this could lead to either a call for nuclear weapons, and also do you feel that the time really is now for this peaceful solution that you advocate?
Well, as you know, I haven't been discussing the Vietnam situation because I'm not a candidate, and I don't have the full facts. I do think that we're living in a period of high tensions, high frustrations, and that what we need is to find moderate solutions and not extreme solutions, and that to reach for a gun or to call in the military isn't necessarily the best solution.
Do you think now is the time that it's all peace?
sought to form.
Well, what is
Ted
your
Keel
reaction to
today,
Senator
Ted Keel
Goldwater's
today
counsel?
called for, if need be, mandatory arbitration in civil service labor disputes.
Well, I think we're going to have a great many important suggestions from various leaders in different walks of life. Personally, I think that I will wait for the reconvening of the Taylor Committee, the 5 top labor experts in the country, to review the Taylor law as it's now constituted, the exemptions from that law for New York City, which were written into the law as far as the peaceful settlement procedures are concerned, the procedures in local areas like New York, and then get their recommendations and then they will encompass the recommendations, the consideration of the recommendations by various other groups, such as the one that Congressman Ted Kupferman made.
What is your feeling about arbitration?